It's John Howell here, and I just thought I'd come on and do a live stream for you guys today. It is Sunday morning right now, and I just want to come on and do some things and talk about some things that's happening within the stock market and the stock market top, and if you are going through a hard time right now when it comes to your trading and so on and so forth, I've got some things that I want to share with you that I know that can really help you understand the journey of this here and stuff like that. Plus, also, I want to talk about where are we really right now in the stock market? Are we are we are we at the top? What can we expect moving forward when it comes to these markets? So let me just bring this up through to here. Um, and so welcome aboard, guys. This is John Howell here. And as I said before, it's a Sunday morning where I'm right now, and I wanted this live stream for you just to really help you out. My purpose and my outcome of doing this live stream today for you guys is just to maybe neutralize your journey as well too when it comes to your trading. If you're doing it tough right now and you're finding it hard in the markets right now, then I'm going to share some things with you that I know that can really help you when moving forward in these markets. And also, are we actually at the top of the stock market? So that's what I want to share with you. Good morning, Stephen. Is it Stephen? Yeah, it is. Good morning. Good morning. So that's what I want to share with you in today's video here. So this is just this is just a live stream. I was thinking about using this guy for more production, but guys, sometimes just setting the camera up against my computer and running with it is sometimes the best thing to do. Now, just as you're logging in, guys, tell me where you're coming from. Where are you guys from? Let me know where you're from. I'd like to see where my audience is from and where you guys are coming from. That'd be fantastic. And then we're going to get started, guys. First thing I'm going to talk about the stock market. Just me that the video audio isn't synced. Finland. Cali. Hey guys, can you guys give me a 1 in the chat box if the audio and video is okay for you? So I just got a comment there that seems like us. Yep, okay, fantastic. Alrighty guys, so we've got Cali, we've got Finland, we've got Portland, we've got Nevada. Fantastic, Nevada. How is it over in Nevada right now? I guess that's Nevada, Vegas, right? I'm guessing that's right. I guess that's it. How is it over there right now? I'm coming from Australia, so I'm from Australia. So how is it with the whole restaurants and what's happening with the virus situation? How is it over there right now? And let me know, how is it over for you, where you guys are coming from, Finland and Cali, and do you guys still have lockdowns or are you opening back up? And because I know for here in Australia, we are opening back up and we continue to open back up, but down south of Sydney, where I'm from, Melbourne, they're going through a massive lockdown again. So really interesting there. So as you guys are talking through there, by the way, guys, this is just it's like 5 o'clock in the morning where I am right now. If you guys are wondering, I normally get up every morning to look at the markets and so on and so forth. So I'm just so excited I can't sleep. So I was up at 3:30 this morning, even on a Sunday morning. My kids are still asleep, so and I'm just looking at the charts behind me, and just looking at what's really going on and what's happening in these markets through here. Let me just share this with you here. This is my trading setup. Let me just share this with you here. So I've got a big screen there, and then I've got another small screen over there. So if I can I change this here? How do I change this? So let me, no. What's that do? Nothing. Share, mute microphone. All right, I have no idea how to use. Did I just take a screenshot? I did too, didn't I? All right, all right. I've been to Australia, amazing place. Not right now, no. Not right now, it's not. Um, how do I? Oh, there we go. All right, I can't even turn this thing around, can I? No, I can't. All right. How do I? Just a live chat. All right, cool. Brazil. Canada is going good. Emergency fund is being cut back and people are going back to work. Yeah, yep, same here. So yeah, guys, so let me just, it was about a year ago for my birthday. So it's your birthday now, yeah. All right, let me see if I can, so I just want to show you my training setup, guys. So this here is, I wish I could share my screen the other way around, but I can't. So this is one screen. So just have, this is a big sort of, as you can see how big it is. I think this is like a 49 inch or something like that I use every day when I'm training. And as you can see, I can see up the top here. I use this up the top here, guys, for charts. This gives me a much, much, much longer term view. And then I have my sort of charts over there. Anyway, so let me just bring you down through to here, guys. Now, why I have all that is because one of the best things for me as a trader is to see where we are at. So I like to look at the short-term view, such as the 3-month chart. I like to look at the 12-month view, and also the weekly charts and the long-term view as well too. If you can start to compress those times into one combination, a weekly trend, sort of the 12-month or two-year big picture view on the daily charts, and then maybe looking at the short-term time frame. I found that really, really helpful. So that's the reason why I have so many screens. And when I do trade the futures of Forex market, which I haven't done for a long time, I'm looking at the 1-minute charts, 2-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 15, and also 60-minute charts. So that's the reason why I have 2 big screens. I used to have like 4 or 5 screens, but I've now only got, I think this is like a 49 big one that you saw just behind you. And so yeah, it's about a 49 inch. And then I have a 32 inch widescreen to my, it'd be to the left, but to my right is that there. And so again, guys, I'm only looking at that because I think one of the best things for me is to see things on a large scale, to see where we're at. And really all I'm looking for is where a key level of support or resistance. If it's breaking a resistance level, it's likely to run to the next resistance. Is there room there, and so on and so forth? Are we in an upward trend or are we not? Am I fighting the trend? Am I not? Where are we right now? And so that combination, guys, of that's what I look for there. So anyway, one of the best things that I learned, guys, when actually trading, and I'll get into some of the stuff I'll talk about today. This is just a casual chat today, guys. So for you guys that are watching the replay, this is just a casual chat with me. So I'm going to go off topic sometimes, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, that's the way it is, because guys, if you're trading daily chart and you can have a weekly trend behind you, so you're not trading with that weekly trend, it's such a much more powerful type of setup there. I want to talk about the stock market, the actual Dow Jones and the S&P 500, and where we're at right now. And then also I want to help you guys when it comes to if you're doing it tough in your trading as well too, as I promised. Yes, what I do is I drink a green tea. So I've got, this is lemon and I'm not sure if you guys can read that, but it's lemon and ginger and then green tea. And then I drink through a straw because I try to drink through a straw so my teeth don't get yellow. Thank you, by the way, for taking the time to talk with us. No problem, Steve. No problem. Someone said, "What app do I use?" I don't use an app. Don't use your phone to trade. If you're using your phone to trade, don't do that. Use a computer, okay? Sit down, look at the charts, see where we're at. Just had a bulletproof. I was actually talking to one of my private clients recently about that. He said he loves the bulletproof. So yeah, so fantastic. I'm very big into health and fitness, guys. So I don't even have a link. So if you're interested in my health and fitness journey and my cancer journey and so on and so forth, and how I removed that and all that sort of stuff, I think if you go to John Howe Amazon, you'll be able to find my Amazon store there. It's like, I know the book's like $3 or something like that. Plus, also there's a book there called The Flow of Success. Oh, actually, yeah, if you type Flow of Success, John Howe, Amazon, or something like that in the Google, it'll come up with that book there. That'll really help you. It's only about $3, but that'll really help you. It's about like 19 universal laws to help you. So go check that out. Go get that $3. So anyway, I want to talk about the stock market where we are right now. Okay, guys. What we're seeing right now, we're seeing a flood of people into the stock market as we speak. I see a push to the upside next week. Call, I'll look it up and support you. $3 is a good investment. Yeah, it's like I don't really even talk about that sort of stuff because that sort of stuff that of my life I want to focus more on. But once again, if you type in John Howe Amazon or the Flow of Success, especially the Flow of Success book. If you guys are going through a hard time right now and you're struggling, type in Flow of Success, John Howell Amazon or something like that, Flow of Success Amazon, and then you'll see my book there. Again, it's like $3 or something. Get that. It's 19 universal laws that really will start to help you in your path moving forward. And then if you're so inclined, grab that basically my health and fitness book that I got there, which is just basically my story of how I lost weight, got into shape, and got healthy. All right, so the stock market right now. I see the stock market continuing to push to new highs, especially the S&P 500, and with all the indices. But the Dow Jones is a different one. The Dow Jones, I don't see I'm just looking long term, but I don't see the Dow Jones making a all-time new high break. Compared to all the other indices. So it's really interesting to see where the Dow Jones is at. Actually, the Dow Jones may go for a run to new highs. We're at sort of 28,000, which is crazy. But the S&P 500 is definitely it's probably likely to break up to an all-time new high. But it's going to be really interesting to see whether we actually do hold that level there. So the collective, where we are right now, guys, I'm seeing a massive top forming in the stock market. And that takes time as well too, when it comes to the stock market. And if one of the biggest misconceptions that stops people, that gets people into the FOMO, is not understanding reality of the markets, and their perception and reality are two different things. What I mean by that is that they think, oh, I better get now because I'm going to miss the run. So they FOMO, right? Or I better get in now before I miss the crash. So they FOMO. So they FOMO into the markets. And with a stock market crash, that takes time. And I want you to and so that people say, oh, I better get in now because if the market crashes, I'm going to miss out. It even took like probably like five weeks or something, even for the virus situation to happen. And then now we're back at all-time new highs. An overall big bear market, guys, takes 1 to 2 years to unfold. 1 to 2 years to unfold. It slowly goes down. And this is what I want you to do. So I don't want you to be trying to jump into things that you think you're going to miss out on, because it's just you are only going to end up going backwards when it comes to that. Um, and so when I say about the stock market top right now. We are getting so many warning signs, and 2021 is going to be so much more worse than we're seeing right now. Especially when the government starts to continue to rein back support for the community. Businesses are going under. It's going to be deadly. It really, really is. Over the next probably 2 or 3 years, we're going to start to see debt restructuring from the government, which means there is not going to be support from the government. Pensions are going to get hurt, and also like government assisted jobs, hospitals, and so on and so forth are going to get hurt as well too, because there's going to be a massive debt restructuring, and it's probably going to happen in 2021. Right now, they're trying to keep it up for the election, I believe, but um, but I honestly see that after the election, whoever gets in, it's all over, because now they're in for 4 years. That's it. If Trump gets in for the next 4 years, so I honestly see that this is going to be bad. But on the flip side, guys, it's not all bad. And the reason why I say that is because if you know how to trade these markets, and I'll talk more about that in today's session, then I was talking about that with my private clients recently. It's like, it doesn't matter what the market does. This is an amazing opportunity, because once you start to see these patterns, these setups that do really well for you, you can start to crush it in your own trading. So people are like, well, you're drinking a straw, John. And right now, we're getting so many people flooding into the actual stock market itself. We really are, and that's just it's a big warning sign. You know what I mean? And that was the same with Bitcoin as well too. When Bitcoin was at sort of 16, 17,000, that was the massive warning sign there. Probably even earlier, but it kept going up and kept going up, and then suddenly it started to crack. I wouldn't be too surprised to see the S&P 500 break up to all-time new high, and that be the final high for many years to come. So that's just potentially what I see. But that's my thought, guys. Who knows what's going to happen when it comes to the S&P 500, and the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. It's really, really hard to say what's likely to happen there. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because the government has put into, and they did this back in the 1930s too. The government has set up a situation to where the only really good asset to get into is real estate, or either the stock market. Low interest rates. They're not that obviously they're not giving a good interest rate on their bonds, and so therefore they're forcing people into the stock market, and then obviously, and also low interest rates is also forcing people into buying real estate as well too. So that's just what I see, guys, when it comes to the stock market itself. Uh, uh, S&P already made 2 points from all-time high. Yeah, I did it. Let me have a look here. Oh, okay, yes, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Easiest way to trade like a pandemic is to think like a pandemic. Let me actually talk about that, guys. In my trading career, I have done so much dumb shit, and I've done so much. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again, dumb shit in my life when it comes to trading these markets. And there's been so much stuff. There is so much stuff out there that I've learnt, that I realize it's not going to help me at all. Like when you learn about the death cross, and you learn about all this sort of stuff. It's like, it took me a while, like when I first started trading, as you guys know, I lost a quarter of a million, then I had to get back on top of my feet. Um, and I remember one time, guys, like I got divorced and I had to go live in a shared accommodation place with only about 5 or 10 grand to my name, and there was no job, no future prospects, no nothing. It was just me and my trading, and I had to figure this game out with that 5 or 10 grand, and and trade in the markets with that, and learning how do I actually get ahead in these markets? Like, what do I actually do to move forward? Um, and guys, there's so much stuff that we think about the markets. There's so much stuff that we go through our minds when it comes to these markets. It's completely wrong. The myth of more trades. The more trades we take, the more money we make. That's completely wrong. Completely wrong. The reason why is because when you trade a lot, you end up making a lot of mistakes. You end up going backwards, and you end up taking a lot of shit trades that you shouldn't. And then there's these amazing trades that come up that meet a setup, a plan, patterns that do really well. And that took me a long time to figure this out. And this is in the scheme if you guys are going through a hard time. Guys, I remember when I first started trading, my first 2 3 years was horrible. I lost $250,000. I lost everything, and I had to sell my house, sell my car. I just recently got married to my wife at the time, and I had to move back with her family. And we had this really beat up sort of Honda Civic. It was really, really bad, uh, and what ended up happening was at that time I had no money to my name, but I knew I could trade. Well, I thought I could trade. I ended up getting lucky for a little bit there in a big bull market and then borrowed money and then come crashing down on me. But that was a big lesson for me. And what ended up happening is I ended up borrowing about $5,000 from my father-in-law at the time, and he lent me the money. And what ended up happening was I started trading all night. So I'm here in Australia, so all night I'll be looking at mainly the E-mini S&P futures it was at the time. Mainly the E-mini S&P. So what I do is I borrowed $5,000. Here I am, $250,000 in debt with nothing to my name. We've got this beat up Honda Civic, and it was beat up. I tell you, it was bad. The clutch was like there was a manual, and the clutch was burnt out so much that the gears would. Oh man, it was bad. Trying to drive and so on and so forth. Just praying that God it wouldn't break down because I didn't have any insurances, or I didn't have I pray to God I didn't have an accident or whatever because I didn't have any insurances or whatever. And it was just really, really bad. And so anyway, so I borrowed $5,000 from my father-in-law, and I remember staying up all night trading the short-term time frame charts, the 1 minute charts, even as down to as low as um, um, even as low as like a 44 tick chart. And I was trading all these different charts, and I was trading divergence patterns and breakout patterns, moving average crossovers and all this sort of stuff, right? And a lot of this thing's going to move. And there's a lot of noise out there that says, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And there's a lot of stuff out there, right? There's a lot of systems out there, a lot of processes, a lot of stuff out there. Now, if you go to John's free gift, guys, if you go to John's free gift, I've got a free trading course to help you with the trading, with some trading systems and mindset stuff, chart reading stuff. So if you need some help there, some free help, then just go to that there, and I'll be able to help you out with that there. But when I borrowed this $5,000, I remember one night I started trading short-term time frame charts, and by the end of the night, I blew up 50% of my trading account. That wasn't that, and it was just one night. I went to bed in the morning as the sun was coming up. My wife at the time, she was just getting up to go to work. And I started crying and crying and crying and crying because I'm just like, I want this so bad. I just want this. Why can't I get this? What am I missing? What am I not seeing with this? And this is about 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years into my journey of starting to learn about the stock market. Because my back history, I was a landscape gardener. I grew up a family. I've gone to school, and when I finished school, I went straight to work for my dad as a landscape gardener. So that was my back history. I didn't know anything about investing. But then it was, long story short, then I started getting into the investing. Then I started learning about investing in the stock market and all this sort of stuff. But my growing up history, I had no idea what the stock market was. No one talked about the stock market. Still to this day, none of my family know what the stock market is. It's like, what? Stock market? What is that? Um, so, so I looked at this and I'm just like, and I said to my wife at the time, like, I really want this so bad. And I remember sitting there one New Year's Eve and watching the fireworks and so on and so forth. And I'm just like, I really want this. I really want to do this. And and it was at that time that I started to, I guess, started to put some together of why I wasn't moving forward and what was the thinking behind what I was doing and all that sort of stuff. And cut a long story short, within about 8 to 12 months after changing some stuff, I moved out of my mother and father-in-law's place, got a nice house, got a couple of cars, went on holidays, blah blah blah. Story, whatever. Um, and I say whatever because it's like, who cares about that sort of stuff anyway? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's good initially, but then after that, you're like, okay, there's more to life than just money and so on and so forth. It's interesting. We work so hard to get the money, but then when we get the money, it's like, okay, is this all that life's all about? It's got to be some sort of other purpose behind the life than getting the money. But initially, we work so hard to get the money, right? Because we think this is the thing. Anyway, so and some of the things that I really learned and still continue to remind myself and continue to go through now, 15 years later, almost over 10 years later after going through that, has been some simple things that really, 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 really simplifies it down to my trading and trading well in the markets. And it's gone through, and this is, guys, and this is the 15 years of experience. And here's the truth about the markets. There are patterns that form in the markets. There are patterns that form in the markets. And within those patterns that form in the markets, there's patterns that form in the markets. And then also you have your entry setup, or you have your entry candle or entry bar within that pattern in the markets. Whatever pattern it is for you. And that pattern has a win-loss ratio. And so every time that pattern forms, that pattern is going to give you a 60% win-loss ratio, a 70% win-loss ratio, whatever system you're trading, it's going to give you that win-loss ratio. So my job was to, find the pattern that I liked, not try to find a pattern that's going to make money every time, because it just doesn't work out there. If you're trying to chase that money every time, you're doing it the wrong way. And so I needed to figure out, it is a probability game, exactly right. But it's only a probability game if you're following some sort of system, right? It's not a probability game if your last 10 trades have been based on 10 different random systems. There is no probability based on that. So once I started to figure this out, I'm like, okay, then it's a probability game. And I'm trying to make money on every single trade. I'm trying to force it. I'm trying to throw a lot of money at one trade, trying to make a lot of money really quickly. But that's not how the game works in trading. How the game works, and this is where I went wrong, blew up a lot of money to start, was I always thought that if I had lost money, then I was a bad trader. And that wasn't the case. I was a bad trader if I wasn't sticking to some sort of a pattern or a system, which simply just means a setup on the charts. Really, when it comes down to it, bull market, bear markets, is like, it doesn't matter. And so once I started to realize that, I'm like, okay, then, so it's a pattern that I need to set up. So what sort of patterns? And guys, the pattern could be a 50-50 win-loss ratio. You know what I mean? Like you could have a pattern that has, you know, on average of 40 trades a year, that gives you 20 profits, 20 losses. But your 20 profits, and this is where we get into the profit. This is the second or third step. So the first stage is like, what sort of pattern do you like? What sort of pattern that resonates with you? What sort of trading setup resonates with you? And so if you start to focus on what sort of pattern you're looking for in the markets there, and within that pattern, now it's like, okay, now once you've done your testing around that pattern, whatever it is, then it's like, okay, how do I say this? Yeah. Okay. So I'm doing this live on the spot, as you can see, guys. I'm doing this completely live on the spot. So once again, guys, I'll go from the start. So once I figured out that it wasn't a randomness that I do well out of the markets, it's a pattern, and this pattern has a win-loss ratio. And every time I step up to this pattern, I need to trade this pattern consistently, not all over the place. I need to trade this pattern consistently. Whatever that pattern is, there's plenty of patterns, plenty of systems out there. Just find one that resonates with you. And then I have to, every time I place a trade, this one could be part of the loss in the loss ratio, or in the win loss ratio. See, I wasn't focused. I was just trying to make money every single time, trying to make a lot every single time. You know what I mean? And so I was just trying to force it and rush it and trying to, okay, well, I'm gonna buy it here because this YouTube video said so. I'm gonna sell it here because this strategy said so. Or, you know, I was all over the place. There was no foundation to me. But once I started to say, okay, then what pattern does resonate with me? Secondly, now my job is to trade that pattern with good risk management, because I know that some of these trades are going to be losers and most are going to be wins. And again, if you go to johnsfreegift.com, over the course of the next week, my system will send out to you 2 or 3 different trading systems and stuff like that. You can actually start, which me into patterns to start to help you out there. But whatever, even if you're following a pattern right now, follow that. And so, what pattern are you following? If you want to be good at this thing called trading long term, what pattern are you following? Or you've just been lucky buying the markets and it's going up from here. Secondly, see, once I started to figure out that, I'm like, okay, then I'm blowing my account up because there's randomness to my trading. Everything is random. My money management random. My trading is random. My trading approach is random. I'm getting in, getting out, all this random stuff. No wonder I'm not making any money. Once I focus on just 1 or 2 systems, initially just one good trading system, and then every time that system appeared on the chart, or the pattern appeared on the chart, and I traded it with good risk management, not trying to, okay, I hope this is not a losing trade. I hope this is a profitable trade. And yeah, and within that, and not trying to be right with that. See, one of the biggest problems is that even though you may have your pattern in place, or you may have your trading setup in place, one of the hardest things for me when I first started was then trying to say, okay, then I know the trading system, but then now I was trying to be right with the market. I was trying to say, okay, well, I think this is going to be one of the losing trades, so I'm not going to take it, and that trade will actually run on for profits. Or this one's definitely going to be a profit, so I'm going to load up 4 times my risk management, 4 times my position size than this one, because this one's definitely going to be a profits, and then I'd have a loss. And I'd start to skew the results. See that there, guys? So you may have a good, successful system, but that's only 5% of your success. The other 95% of your success is, 1, patiently waiting for that system, and secondly, having the same risk management every single time on your account. There is no ups, there is no downs, there is no, well, I hope this is going to be a profitable trade. I hope this is, or you definitely know there is no, right? Like, I don't know. And so when you approach it like that, you start to get really, really good result, long term. And so, 1, the more you can focus on trading one system and wrap that around with good risk management every single time, and the same risk management, which I recommend only a few % risk on your account every single time. And not trying to be right with the markets to guarantee the trade you don't think are going to be profitable, they're going to run on for profits. So let's actually break this down to the simple things. How I started to move forward in the markets in a big way and start to do really, really well overall was coming down to saying, okay, what system do I really like that has a very good win-loss ratio that I can trade? And so for me was the system was my main system that I use right now. I think if you go to if you go to John's Free Gift, I actually talk a lot about that system in there as well too. Again, over the next week, I'll share that with you. But I found a system that I like. That's not perfect and it has losses. But once again, guys, the system the first step to the system is only 5% of your success. The other 5% is like, are you consistently following that? Even when it's quiet for a day or two, or maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and there's no trades, are you not trading and waiting for your setup? That's the first step. And if not, well then how do you expect to get consistent results if you're not consistent? One of my earliest mentors said that to me. He said, John, you may have a system, but you're not even following it. So how do you expect to get good results? And so my job one was learning the system. And then I had to start to learn things like I had to start to learn patience and all this patience within not trading. Because I thought if I'm not trading, I'm not making money. And then I'd trade and I'd lose money. I'm like, what? That doesn't, what? I, and so, yeah. And so that's basically, and then that's how I started to move forward in the markets. And it was incredible. Things started to completely change for me because I started focusing on, here's the system I'm looking for, and I'm going to focus on taking this. And every time the setup appears, I'm going to take it. I'm going to risk 2% of my account, and I'm just going to take it. And it's either going to be a loss or a profit, but I don't know. But my job is to take it when the setup's there. And that's how I started to move forward in a big way, guys, from there. So if you're going through a tough time, I guarantee you're going through a tough time like I was when I first started trading, like $250,000, and then lost half of my trading account from my father-in-law before I started to get it. Now I had a lot of education. I bought a lot of courses, did a lot of seminars, but it was just hard for me to move forward that way. And things started to change for me. I started to get some really, really good profitable months. I remember the very first time I had like an $80,000 month. It was just like, wow, this actually is real. Like I can do this. It was just incredible. Now, what I do say is this, guys, as I've continued to learn about the stock market and continue to learn about trading, it just depends on what type of system you trade. See, my number one trading setup I trade to this day has like a 90+% win-loss ratio, a 90+% win-loss ratio. But there's only maybe 1 to 2 dozen trades per year with that system. And a lot of these trades, the risk to reward, or the reward to risk, should I say, the reward is like times 4 to 5 times to the risk you'll probably be risking on that trade. So I started to learn, say, something like that, which again, if you go to John's Free Gift, over the next 7 days, my system will send out to you. My system will send out to you, the system and so on and so forth. You'll be able to learn that sort of stuff. Or maybe you've already seen the webinar and all the trainings and stuff like that. But that's the hard thing, right? It's like, okay, then this has a really good win-loss ratio and a massive, massive probability, but there's not many trades throughout the year. And then I have another similar setup that gives me a short-term trade, which means it's only probably going to break out for the next, when I get this entry signal, which again, I teach you for free as well too at johnsfreegift.com. Over the next 7 days, I send out the free training course. When I get this entry signal, when I get this entry signal, it's around about 70% success rate because it's much more shorter term trade, but there's a lot more of those trades. There's probably maybe a couple of those per week, or maybe at least one per week I'd see on the actual markets. Done with this sales pitch. You think this is a sales pitch, Evan? Are you serious? Are you serious, man? If you actually get what I'm trying to share with the group and get what I'm trying to share with you, my man, you would start to understand this is not a sales pitch, man. Seriously. I'm trying to help you, brother. And if you're going through a hard time in the stock market and you're trying to figure some shit out, then I'm trying to give you the foundations to you getting this right. Even if you do nothing with me at all, listen to what I'm telling you. Oh, but wait, you're one of the 90% of the morons, right? I talk about in the videos. You're one of the 90% of morons. Get nicked. Actually, just interesting, guys. Yeah, just interesting, guys. Can you guys give me a yes and give me a one in the chat box if you've actually filled out your email and then over the week you've actually watched all? Yes, I do give you. I send you out offers, but have you actually watched that free trading course over the week, where it's like a week's worth of different, chart reading stuff and trading systems and so on and so forth. So give me a yes if you've actually gone through that whole thing there. And again, yes, of course I send stuff out there. That's my company. It's my business. But yeah. Anyway. You can choose him, but don't put him down. No. I watched the ones on YouTube. Okay, cool. Yeah, and even if you go to like the trading education playlist, there's plenty up there on the trading education playlist on YouTube one. So anyway, so yeah, guys, and that's the truth behind the markets. Okay, that's the truth behind. And that's when I actually started to get it. And so my job then is and still to this day, guys, because I'm not perfect, and I go through my shit periods, and I go, oh, Jerry. If you just go to johnsfreegift.com, put your email address in, and then you get the first training, and then over the next week, my system sends out another like 7 free trainings, and they are free trainings. I teach you system strategies and whatever. But even if you don't go there, go to the trading education playlist on my YouTube, and there's a ton of stuff there to help you about the markets. So that's what it is. And as I was saying before, guys, I still screw up every now and then as well too. What I mean by that is I still go out and take all these other bullshit trades. I'm like, man, I shouldn't have taken those trades. And then I come back. So I have a process of what I call recording, viewing, and improving. So every week, or at least every month, I'll sit there and I'll say, okay, how did I go this month? And every single trade I take, I put it into a spreadsheet, and then I record it, and then I'll review it. And I'll review it in a way of, okay, how well was I sticking to my plan today? Or this month? How well did I stick to my plan this month? How was my risk management? And where do I need to improve on? Maybe I need to improve on my trade management. Maybe I'm holding on to things too long when it comes to my profits, and stuff like that. Like so you have the trading system, you have you being patient and not trying to be right with the risk management. And then the fine tune, it's like, okay, how do I manage these trades properly to maximize what I'm doing with these trades? And that's just fine tuning it. And that keeps me accountable. So every single month, at least, I'll do a record, review, and improve. I've been doing it every week lately. And I just go over all my trades. Okay, how well was I sticking to the system this month? Where do I need to improve on myself? And then you just continue to flow and flow and flow with that there. And that's how you start to really gain. And no matter what, and the way that I trade, no matter what the market does, bull market, bear markets, it doesn't matter. The system just works. My job is just having to wait that. And so guys, if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through a really, really tough time in your trading right now, all I say is that it's because you're probably doing a lot of random stuff in the markets. And if you are making some money right now based on randomness, I promise you it's going to come crashing down. It did for me earlier on. My first 3-6 months, made a lot of money in a big bull market. and it came crashing down real quickly. And I wasn't actually being a professional long term about it. And once I started to learn the art of doing that, um, I lost 7K. I've been patient. Yeah. But if you guys are going through a hard time right now in the stock market and you're getting slapped around, then it doesn't mean it's all over. I saw one of my private clients said, John, if I lost $250,000, I'd give up. But that's how bad I wanted it. I really wanted it so bad. And I don't know why. It was the trading thing that just got with me. And I'm like, I need to figure this out. I really, really, really need to figure this out. And it's through the trial and error and learning how to read the charts properly and the trading setups. But how do I? Yes, here's the chart. He's reading the charts, but how do I trade properly? And what is the truth about trading? Well, I'm trying to make a lot of money on every single trade. Why? That's not how trading works. And so I had to start to break down these beliefs that I actually thought about the stock market. That it was only the rich that got lucky and the insider secrets got lucky and all this type of garbage. Like, no, we all have access to the same information. And if you read some of the market wizards books, which I am, you'll be able to start to see that even a lot of those, they go on the same information. It's just how we interpret it or how we understand it. And once we can understand it a bit more, we can start to add probability. And guess what, guys? When there is no probability, you don't trade. And that's what I've been saying. That's what I was saying. Over the last week or so with gold. If people that are looking to get into gold, it was massively low probability that it was going to keep going up, and a high probability we're going to get some sort of a sharp pullback. That's all it was. It was all about probability. But people may get lucky, and they think they're right. There's a lot of people out there right now that are lucky in the stock market. Same with the S&P 500. They just keep buying it and it keeps going up, or the Nasdaq or whatever. And it's going to come crashing down for them one day soon. Buying the S&P right now is not smart. It's just them getting lucky. But again, who am I to say? There could be a pattern that you trade, and that works for you when it comes to the S&P 500 right now. Now, I'm talking about like an overall basis. If you're trading intraday charts, like 1 minute charts or 5 minute charts, that's a completely different story. There's heaps of patterns through there. And that's the truth behind the markets, guys. And so you can do really well long term with these markets. 1, find a pattern that you like. 2, do some back testing with that pattern and find out what's the win-loss ratio, and don't fudge the results. Okay, don't fudge the results. Secondly, once you understand the win-loss ratio, by you spending the work yourself, going back over time and back testing it, the work in, then 3, when you are trading, trade real small of your account and only risk small. So 1, find the system. Secondly, figure out the system for yourself. Build confidence within the system. And this is where it takes time. My mentor, when I first started to get this, my mentor put me on like a 3 or 6 month probation period where I wasn't trading live at all. My job was just to do back testing and trade live, paper trading, a system. So when every day I'd be paper trading live this one system. And then in my spare time, I was doing back testing, which means going over the charts and so on and so forth. And that's what it comes down to. Now, the hardest thing, guys, is just 1, sticking to a system. That's it. And there's a whole wide range of going with that, which means the hardest thing is being patient, right? Because we have this thing in our head that if we're not trading, we're not making money. And even I go through those phases sometimes. I go through those phases a couple times a year where I start to get antsy and I start to take all these other bullshit trades. I'm like, I'm getting back into my old habits. Don't. I do it like once or twice a year myself. Now, thankfully for me, I still have good risk management of those trades. So, my account, my lose 5 or 10% of my account, or 5 or 10% of the profits that I've made that year. I'm still up. I'm still up overall, and that's all it comes down to, guys. Like, trading can be a simple process for you. lower your stress, lower your expectations, and lower your thoughts about how trading really works and what you think about the actual stock market. All it comes back down to is if you don't have a pattern you're following or trading setup, well, then you're never going to get ahead. And then start to wrap it around with, okay, then what's the average win-loss ratio of this system? And then start to trade it from there. And the hardest thing for traders is the ebbs and flows of it. And the ebbs and flows of trading, right, is some months are going to be really, really active for you, and some months are going to be really, really quiet. Like January and February this year for my number one trading system, my 90% plus success system, that doesn't get a lot of trades throughout the entire year, maybe 1 or 2 dozen trades throughout the entire year. It might happen. But there was like maybe 4 or 5 trades for the first couple of months this year. And then something went quiet, really, really quiet. And we didn't have a trade for like 5 weeks. And then bam, there was another good trade there. And that's the hardest thing about trading, right? Is going through the ebbs and flows of, okay, going and understanding that as well, which means some months within your system, you're going to be very active and some months not. So I hope this helps you out, guys. At the end of the day, if you're not consistently, if you're under this umbrella of everything in the stock market, if you want to do well out of trading, like trading the markets and not investing is like long-term stuff, just by trading the markets, then if you're not consistently following a pattern, then you are never going to consistently do well long-term, and you have yourself to blame. But it's not over. If you got smacked by the markets hard, you have 2 choices. One, you can dust yourself off and say, you know what, I'm going to figure this out, and listen to what I just said in this video, and then start to make some changes and move forward. And within the next 12 months, you can really start to change your life massively for you. I was there, $250,000 in debt, and also blowing up half of my father-in-law's trading account that he gave me, $5,000 in one night. Then I had to start to figure it out. So, and that's always the hardest part about trading, is people doing that. And so for me, guys, trading can be a simple process. Here's how simple the trading can be. Once I start to get out of my head and I try to rush and I try to trade every day and so on and so forth, I know if I look at my trading from a yearly perspective, not from a daily perspective, from a yearly perspective, I'm likely to get a couple of dozen really good high quality trades. And if I'm personally trading, and if I'm within those high quality trades within this 12-month period, if I'm trading 5 or 10 grand, which is risking, say 2% risk on my trading account every single time, or if I'm only risking 2% risk on my trading account every time, I'm likely to be doing this by the end of this 12 months. Some months are going to be quiet, some months are going to be busy. And that's how I think about my trading. One of the hardest things about trading is like you set weekly or daily goals. I always found that to be the worst thing you can ever do. I didn't set any trading goals. I set yearly goals. What would I like to achieve this year? Because the months, trading is not like a normal job where you make money every week or every. Now you can if you're trading intraday charts, but that's how simple it can be. This pattern is very, very, very reliable, and when it appears, most of the trades are going to do really well. Most of the trades are going to do really well. Okay, cool. So if I just stuck to this one pattern and not traded a lot and actually lowered my stress and enjoyed my life, I'm going to kick ass this year. Okay, but I'm only going to trade maybe 15, 20 times with that one system. Maybe more, maybe 30 times I'm going to trade. 30 times out of the whole entire year. But like one of my recent successful trades, that I did, that gave me over 1,000% return. Depends on what market offers, I guess, John. That's what I'm saying, Jerry, right? Like, but it's a yearly perspective, right? Not a daily perspective. The market, your trading will ebb and flow, as in like you might have a lot of trades one month and the next month might be really quiet. That's what it's all about. Man, I just did that. Set weekly goals. Don't do this. Don't do this now. Because the reason why is because now you're actually putting pressure on yourself. Now you're starting to put pressure on yourself that, oh my goodness, I got to set this weekly goal. It's the worst thing you can do with trading because it's not like that. Some weeks are going to be active, even if you're sitting on the screen. Like my mentor, he sits in front of the screen sometimes 8, 10, 12 hours a day, trading 5 or 6 different markets, gold and so on and so forth. And so, and sometimes he doesn't have a trade for a few weeks. So here's some things, guys. I hope here's some things that I really wanted to share with you in today's session. And my only hope in today's session, guys, is listen. I know this market's probably smacking you around so hard right now, and it's sending you down big time. Not necessarily, Jerry. No. Don't have a month or don't have anything like that in your mind. Once again, you're going back to a belief. Or August is generally a quiet month. Not necessarily. Depending on what system you have, and depending what type of trading you're doing and so on and so forth. So it's all, yeah. Now, in a general sense, yes, more later on in the year, when summer ends and winter starts to pick back up in the States, then that's when we start to get a lot more volatility then, yes. Which I'm excited for, by the way. So yeah, guys, I hope today has really sort of given you some maybe some light bulbs, and some things to really focus on long term. And that's where, guys, like when people say like, what are my thoughts on X, Y, Z? I can give you my analysis, but you should be trading based on an analysis. You should be based on a pattern, the pattern that has a probability, and you understand the probability. See, if you take one setup or one trade based on a pattern, and that's the only time you take that or a thought, there's no probability based on that there, guys. So if you're doing it tough right now, I guarantee you, because there's a lot of randomness in your trading. That's just it. And if you can learn how to sit down and really focus on not trying to make a lot of money really quickly, you end up doing really well overall. See, the same 12 months, you who was running around like a madman, trying to trade every day, trying to make a lot of money, by the end of the 12 months, you're blowing yourself out. Where me or someone like me that says, you know what, I'm just going to stop, I'm just going to sit here, I'm not going to trade a lot throughout the entire year, but by the end of the year, I'm going to have a really good income. But where is that? That's the patience, right? Patience and me just following the setup that I believe in. That I do have the losses as well too, guys. But that's what stops traders from doing well in the markets. And so yeah, guys. So anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Let me just go through some things that I may. What are my thoughts on Amazon? I don't know right now. There is no thoughts there when it comes to Amazon. Everyone is talking about market crash, which caused me to be bearish. Big game, and this is your fault, right? Because you think market crash, oh, it's going to happen tomorrow, or it's going to happen this week. It takes time. Even if you actually look at the top of the stock market before the virus situation, right? It took a whole month Yeah, it basically took the whole of February to form a top before the down movement happened, as you can see, right? So, and I had been buying put options while the market was going higher. Well, firstly, big game. You've been watching my videos. The market's been in an upward trend. Don't ever fight the trend. And secondly, if you think you're going to buy put options now and the stock market's going to crash this day or tomorrow or this week, you're thinking about it the wrong way, my man. Once again, even in the virus situation, the whole of February was forming a top, and then the whole of March into April was the crash that we saw. So slow down, my man. Slow down. Let me just go through. If anyone has any questions, guys, let me know. I was all over the oil trade and got talked out of it for $4.5. You got gold, bang on, John. Thanks, Jerry. Once again, that gold was just a it was a long-term investing type of trade that I do. And plus understanding how the markets work, guys. It's just something that. Let me just go through some questions. Sales pitch or not? This is some sort of sales pitch, eh? Oh man. And I appreciate that, Alexander. Even if people do nothing with me, but they take exactly what I'm saying here and go to start to apply some things I'm saying right now, they're gonna crush it. Building permits. Looking forward-looking indicator, John. You agree? John's free gift. I looked at PMI and building permits looked terrible. Forward-looking indicator. Who knows? Who knows? No put options based on probabilities for you, even when the stocks are going up. Question marks. But seek truth? No, that's not true. I buy put options when I have a bearish trade. It's as simple as that, right? Like it's like if there is no setup in the stock market, then what? If this and the S&P 500, the stock S&P 500 doesn't mean what all the other stocks are doing out there right now. Actually, it's not. So the stock, all these other stocks out there are going up, are going down, are going sideways. There's bullish trade, there's bearish trades. So yes, I trade put options, but when I have a nice bearish setup as well too. Crypto explode. Oh, your thoughts on Tesla? I'm not sure about Tesla. I think Tesla's still pretty high right now, but who knows? Crypto is exploding. Thoughts on crypto? Are you interested in trading more in the realm? Interested in crypto. I'm not sure about the crypto arena right now. Yeah, it's really, really hard to say which one's going to be left out. It's just like just like like the dot com days. We don't know which crypto is going to be left and which one's not. All the internet companies that were happening in the dot-com in the 2000s, most of them went under. There's only a few that were left. Which one's going to be left? I'm not too quite sure. John likes shorting the lows and buying the highs. Really? Okay. Moron. I wouldn't say that. Just trade. Digital currency. All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. Have an amazing weekend across the globe. Just think about some things I said today, guys. And hopefully just some things I've said to you really helped you out. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.